Hi Taurus, welcome to your June tarot reading. Thank you for joining me. My name is JJ for those who are new to my channel. So Taurus, thanks for your patience. I know you've waited a while for this reading. I have been very busy, and that will continue to be the case, I'm afraid. So thank you for your understanding in advance. Wow. Some pretty heavy stuff coming up here. I would sincerely appreciate your feedback. So just this one time. I mean, I know that many of you willingly leave comments at the end of every video that I upload. So thank you for taking the time to do that. But this time I'm actually going to really request that you keep that in mind at the end of the video, because I would like to make sure that everything coming out here is representative of Taurus energy. And that is because to some degree I did have a bit of difficulty connecting. You know, I just want to be straight with you guys. But I did spend some time with my Taurus housemate just now, gathering her energy, like I was holding her hands for a while, with the tarot in my lap, my intention going towards taking her energy that way. Obviously, with her permission, she knew exactly what I was doing. So thank you, Ali. Nonetheless, I am feeling rather emotional. So I would just like to make sure that whatever comes out of this reading will be as impartial as possible, and I will do my best to remain impartial as I interpret the cards that have come up here. However, these are heavy cards, so your feedback is very appreciated. I'm seeing a lot of energies here that are talking about it's just a little bit confusing. So let me try to organize my thoughts adequately. It is confusing because I see here that there is an attempt to break free from codependency, to break free from certain toxic boundaries, or not so much toxic boundaries, but this tendency perhaps to cross a boundary, which therefore leads to a toxic situation. Most of the time when we do this, we know that we're setting ourselves up for disappointment. So we somehow learn to expect the worst out of such situations. There are a number of ways that this can play out. You may be in love with someone who you know is not good for you, but you're unable to pull away from them, so you continuously go back to them. You continuously approach them for validation, confirmation, anything really that you can spin to your advantage that will allow you to hold on to this idea that they are still somehow yours, or you are still somehow theirs, or you are both exclusive for one another, to one another. So there may be more signs that suggest perhaps that you're not meant to be together. But equally, a lot of emotions within you that make it really difficult for you to admit that. Or this fear that, if you've just met this person, this fear that it might not work out, this fear that you are moving too fast and you're not so sure if they're interested. You would like to have control over the situation. So in Virgo's reading last night, we spoke a lot about control. We spoke a lot about wanting to get a handle over certain obsessive thoughts that were going on and on and on in Virgo's minds and in the minds of others as well who had Virgo in mind. But in this case, in your case, even though there is this feeling of codependency here, which naturally involves more than just yourself, so you and another person, I do feel like this is coming more from your side than it may be coming from your partner's or your love interests or your crush's side. Too many cards there, so that's not very helpful for the purposes of interpretation. So before I draw out another card, which let's save that for the end. Let's have a look here, okay? We have the Five of Cups. Beneath the Five of Cups, we have the Four of Pentacles. I feel like these two cards are tied up to one another. We also have the Emperor right beneath the Four of Pentacles. And so this row of cards here, this row of cards, or column rather, sorry, this column seems to be addressing that issue of knowing that what you may have is not the best situation, perhaps, or knowing that what you may have for this person, okay, or what this person may have for you, what you have together as a couple, or even just as two people who encounter one another, could to some degree makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable and unsettled, because a part of you wants to hold on very tightly to the situation, but you also may have this greater understanding or knowledge that you ought to pull away before you can't recover from a certain disappointment or loss that is expected to occur. And this all comes down to, again, this breaking down of borders and barriers that have been put in place for you not to cross. There are certain lines we know we shouldn't cross, Taurus. But much like we're very attracted to forbidden fruit because it's forbidden, you may be very tempted to break down those borders or those boundaries, because it's just human nature to go after things that might not always be in our best interest. So the Emperor, he usually puts up borders in place to protect his fleet, to protect his army from certain casualties or collateral damage. The Emperor, in other words, has rules in place, and you're not supposed to cross the emperor or go against his word. It's usually his word against yours. In this case, because the emperor is in the reverse here, I get this very rebellious vibe that you want to challenge this boundary. You're successful at doing that because this Tower card is triggered here. But you also know what's coming, Taurus. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what's coming, and it's this Devil card here. So these cards may have already occurred for some of you, and for others of you, this is impending energy that, will occur depending on how you decide to compose yourself, perhaps in the next couple of weeks or so. You may be giving too much of yourself. You may be just, you're allowing yourself perhaps to be vulnerable. And it's not just allowing yourself to be vulnerable to others, with others, but you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable with yourself because you know more than other people what the implications are of your own behavior. This is assuming that you are mature and that you have taken the time to think about what may come next. You may not be the most analytical sign out there, but you sure as hell do dedicate enough time to at least thinking about what it is that you want versus what it is that you need. And if you've got your eye on someone, well then, Taurus, you know how to go after what it is that you want. That is a strong trait that you have, knowing how to go after what you want. Usually that's what empowers you, actually. So you're one of those signs that will justify putting in a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of time to, running after that ideal situation, person, partner, job. When you have that strong conviction that you want it, that you really, really want it, that's when you attract this energy that the magician harnesses very well, where the magician feels like he can manipulate a situation because he owns it. So in his mind, even though what he's after may not be right in front of him, it soon will be, just because he's set his intention in that direction, where he will say, I will do whatever it takes. I will do whatever it takes. If I need to spend more money, I will. If I need to perhaps change the way that I think or feel, I will. If I, if I have to come up with an entire strategy, I will. And it's really impressive when this happens because, again, you are driven by this conviction. Other signs may be driven because they seek perfection, so they'll just keep trying and trying and trying until they hit the nail on the head, and they've found the perfect design. It's in their nature. Other signs are driven primarily due to their emotions. Other signs are driven primarily by ego. In your case, you are driven, your success factor comes from how much you want something. So even though those respective signs will go after perfection, it may not be because they want that perfection. It could be because they need it, because it's an inherent quality and they just simply can't help themselves. Just like those who may be driven by emotions often find themselves running after a situation that is emotional because they just can't help it. They'll be like, well, I love this person too much and I can't do anything to stop myself. So yeah, I will follow my heart. It's my heart over my mind. In your case though, you need that evidence to build up. So what are the long-term benefits of pursuing this job? What are the long-term benefits of buying this house with this at this mortgage rate, so on and so forth. So the thing is though is that you're being very counterintuitive here. You're being counterintuitive. So even though you may want this situation, you want it so badly, you're not listening to your gut instinct. You're going against it because for once, your conviction is not strong enough. So, well, or actually, no, it's the other way around. Your conviction is overwhelming the more rational side of your decision-making process, where certain rational factors that you may have been considering, they're still part of your formula, could have been something along the lines of, oh, but I'm gonna get hurt. Oh, but she is a player, this isn't gonna last. Oh, but this job is temporary and I'm in a more permanent role right now. If I switch and take on this job, the odds that they're gonna promote me from a part-time basis to a full-time basis is quite slim because they've already made their objectives clear to me and that long-term potential is just not there. But I want it. I fucking want it. So the rational part, the instinctual part that says, there are some red flags, watch out there, that she is a player. This is short term. This may not go anywhere. It's fun for now, but what will it be later? It's that but is coming from the high priestess here that's saying, listen to your instinct. You don't want to though. So the devil and the high priestess are at odds here. They are butting heads where the devil is saying, go for it. Just go for it. What do you have to lose? You're supposed to enjoy the moment, right? You're supposed to be present now. And right now, in this present moment, you want this person. They may not want you in the future. But right now, they're up for grabs. Except you have this desire for it to last longer, perhaps. So you think you can compensate this by giving more of yourself, more of your resources, trying to come up with more creative approaches as well as to how you can alter, perhaps, the long-term outcome. You're trying, it's like, I don't know what to tell you, Taurus. Does it look like it ends well? When you've successfully shattered those rules, when you've ignored the what ifs, when you've crossed the line, when you've decided to challenge the Emperor this way, look what happens. So I can't really tell you exactly how this story ends here, because we end on the Two of Pentacles, which means that there is still some time to rectify the situation. This is salvageable in the sense that you can alter to some degree what comes out of this Tower card, Devil card, and also the High Priestess. A lot of readers will tell you that major arcana cards like this are just meant to be. This is fate, and you can't alter such fate. Everything else around it, like the Five of Cups, the Four of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, so how much you're giving, how much you're keeping, how much you're keeping to yourself, how much you're willing to give, how you feel about the situation in terms of loss, disappointment, the amount of anxiety here, that's all supposed to be within your control. But I will tell you this, that the Tower, the Devil, and the High Priestess, they form, they are the most external they are the outer layer of your reading, which means that you have to go through them first in order to get to this central issue, like it's for you to get to the core of the matter here. And yeah, that means that they have an influence in how things are going to progress, but so does this Magician card, which is the layer just beneath. And the Magician card takes from each a little bit, So the Magician can decide perhaps to take advantage of this bond here, spin it to his advantage, make it a favorable situation. The Magician usually listens to the High Priestess, or there's like a back and forth there where he's successful with what he does and how he can manipulate the situation because he trusts his gut instincts, and also because he sort of is the reason why we have these intuitions to begin with, kind of. I mean, that might be wrong, actually, when we come to talk about the history of the tarot, but it's this empowering notion that you can do whatever you want with what you have. So even though your gut is saying something, even though the devil may be luring you to do something that might not be in your best interest, or pushing you towards this addictive recurring pattern of just, codependency perhaps, while the Tower is just disassembling things happening around you in your environment, like just taking things apart or taking things away from you. The Magician is going to attempt to repair all of that. So the Magician is saying, how can I salvage the bits and pieces that the Tower is breaking down? I'm sure I can also come up with a creative way to sever the bond that is between these two people here in the Devil card. And maybe I can twist this gut feeling that I'm having to, support something else. Which is why I'm saying that there is this chance that you can salvage what's going on here. You come back around to this Two of Pentacles where it doesn't seem so bad, you know? It doesn't seem so bad. And you can turn what feels like a pretty serious relationship. I'm inclined to say relationship, but a pretty serious situation into a playful one or a lighter one. Or you're simply left with too much to handle that you don't even know where to begin. So, Taurus, what will it be for you this month? The channeled message that kind of came to me right before I even started this reading was, peer into my soul. Peer into my soul. Because that's how much you want this situation to happen. You want things to unfold, don't you? And you're just running out of ways to express that. So it's almost like you're desperately just asking for the people involved to peer into your soul so that they can touch that element of truth you're trying to show them so desperately. How much you care, how much you want to be there, how much you want them to be there, how good you are for the role. You know, you can apply this logic differently across different cases, different circumstances. Do what you will with those words. So can you please let me know what you thought of this reading? Yes, please. And thank you for your likes and your shares and your subscribes. They really, really mean a lot to me. It might just seem like it's a simple button to you, like the like button or the subscribe button is just a button to you, and like how much can it possibly influence me? But it really, really does. That's what keeps this channel thriving. It's why I keep coming back. So, and it's also one way we can spread the message even further so that others who may have not discovered this channel, who may find benefit by coming to this channel, will be able to do so if it has a bit more exposure that way. The more likes, positive comments, shares, subscribes that I have, the more exposure naturally I will get from YouTube that way. So if that's something as well that also resonates with you, then please feel free. You know I appreciate it. If it doesn't resonate with you, you don't have to feel obliged at all. So thank you again, Taurus, and I will see you next month. Bye.